Hello there. So I decided to do a live stream today. This was originally unlisted, but I just switched it over to uh, public. So hopefully people show up at some point. But until then, I'm just going to talk to myself for a little bit. I have this happy little minion here with me, and that is relevant as well as my shirt because I want to talk about the recent announcements that Universal Orlando Resort made for just all of their summer events that they're going to that they just announced today that there was speculation about and anticipation for, but they specifically announced the details today for what they're going to be doing this summer at Universal Studios mostly, and then also Islands of Adventure. So I'm going to let some people start to arrive here, hopefully soon at some point, and then I can start talking about the details for this. So if you're coming into the chat, hello, it's good to see you. This is very random, I know. I was planning on doing this. I've been trying to do live streams like once a month or so, once every 2, 3, 4 weeks, something like that. Just when I have like information that I actually want to talk about. And I've been waiting on this. They teased this announcement last week that they were going to be announcing something relevant to all of this summer stuff. And then everybody was waiting today for them to announce it, and there was a lot of anticipation and some what do you call it? Just people being impatient, I guess, about the news that maybe they presumed would be announced like immediately early in the morning, but it was like just really announced like the details of like within like the last like hour or so. So this isn't going to be here the entire time. This was just for me to make a thumbnail. Because I need there to be something in the thumbnail with me. I don't want to just like sit here and smile. So yeah, if you are watching this live, then hello. It's awesome to always have people here like actually here like in the chat, just sort of giving their opinions and their thoughts. If they are, my camera is focusing on the minion probably. Like how could you not, right? So, I was gonna say something, but I forgot. I don't know. I'm excited for basically what they announced, and sort of how they like teased it, and then they maybe intentionally waited a little bit later on in the day to finally post all of this information because everybody was just so excited for it. Just the anticipation of just these specific dates that most people have just been waiting for a long time to know the specifics of just when these things are going to be opening up or what they're even doing at Universal because with Epic Universe opening up, they need to just, and they know this, they need to just make it more enticing to visit Universal and Islands of Adventure, competing with themselves over at Epic Universe. And they've been doing that in the park just with maintenance and just with like cosmetic improvements where just every time that I've gone to Universal or Islands in the past like year, they've been just slowly like redoing portions of like just the walkways and the pavement or repainting buildings. Like they've been making it look really nice and now they're like actually doing new stuff, and yeah, so that's what I want to talk about. So if you're watching this on the replay, then I hope this has been fun information that you probably already know and has probably been already digested and consumed by maybe a better media outlet that where you would get more like specific information. Because I'm just going to be sort of talking about just the general announcements, and because there are more specifics with like the numbers of a lot of specific parts of these announcements, and like I'll get to that I guess in a second, like with the parade, just how many specific floats or performers or drones there are, and different water fountains, and like the nighttime spectacular that was announced. So happy birthday to Ryan. So there you go. And just also just hello everybody else that's been popping in here. If I don't see a specific comment, I apologize for that. I want to make sure that I just kind of, not that I want these live streams to just be about like reporting news or theme park information, but it is a really good catalyst to just start a conversation, and that's what I am just super like interested in. So while I wait maybe for like a few more people to show up if they're going to, I know this is a random again live stream. The videos that I just put out, a miniature series that was from my brother Travis's visit to Orlando with his kids Margot and Isaac, my niece and my nephew, respectively, I think. And that was sort of a very last minute trip that he decided to do. He pretty much asked me if he could do that like a few days before they ended up doing it. And of course, I'm more than excited to host anybody here at any point. My brothers are very impulsive when it comes to making decisions, and sometimes they'll just be like, "Hey, can I just hang out with you this weekend?" And obviously, we have a spare bedroom, and theme parks everywhere. So what more of like a cool opportunity to hang out with my brothers and then my niece and nephew. So Travis is my older brother. Dennis is my younger brother. And Travis and Christine, my sister-in-law, they live in North Carolina. And then my other brother, Dennis, he lives in Atlanta, Georgia. And so just it's harder to see them. It's harder to get them down here sometimes. And especially if it's when it's just like that simple of like a get together where it's not like, you know, I mean, the more people that visit obviously are absolutely welcome, but I have not had like a specific Travis visit in a long time, and especially like him with his kids and everything. And not that I wouldn't want anybody else to again come who could, because if we had planned it a little bit better, then we probably could have gotten more people to come down. We could have gotten like maybe more rooms at Sapphire Falls because it was again pretty last minute, so he just got the one room for himself, and then myself and Brennan just when we could join them, that's when we would join them over at Sapphire Falls and at the parks and stuff. Um, so that was a very very special trip for them to come down, and I know that like the videos are not like, and this is where it's like it's not that it's like a challenge to record a very particular point of view with a narrative experience of going to a theme park with certain people, or friends or whatever. Um, but just because they have like particular privacy preferences that I want to definitely abide by. Sometimes there is that like, well then why shouldn't I just enjoy it? And like, do I need to film anything at all? And instead of having to try to navigate around who I do or don't show or whatever, or if I'm trying to like help Travis again, and that was something else. Is just like being an uncle with just my brother and just his kids. Just trying to be present and helpful whenever I could. Because with a with kids that age that are very young, it's hard, and I want to be able to help when I could, whenever I could on that trip to help out with Travis so that he wasn't completely overwhelmed. But he did a really good job, by the way, as like a dad. But stuff like that is like important to Travis, to Dennis, to my parents. It may not be something that's like reciprocated or appreciated like in the moment, but they really do like this YouTube thing. They love like watching back and seeing the videos, and even if they're not like a massive presence themselves in the video, then it's still something that they can like fill in the blanks for themselves for that trip, And something else that I did do that I like think I referenced, I'm pretty sure that I did, is that I still did like record like Travis and the kids and like doing fun things around, Universal, whatever we ended up doing. And like filming the reaction to getting into the room and seeing all the balloons, or if there was like a ride POV that I remember to film, or them running around like a playground or something. We went to the pool and played in the splash pad and played in the pool there. So I filmed all that stuff, and then after I edited all this for YouTube, I edited all that, whether it was on my camera or like my phone or wherever it was, and I condensed that down, and then I was able to send that to like the family so they could actually see like the kids like having fun at Universal and running around. So there was like the YouTube version and then the family version, but it was cool, and sometimes if there's like that challenge, with people wanting to either be or not be on YouTube, then to respect that is something that I absolutely have no problem with at all whatsoever. Sometimes it's just awkward. Like if I invite Travis or Dennis and they want to invite their friends and their significant others, it's I can't just broadcast them on the internet to strangers and stuff. So I've had to navigate around that before. But yeah, it's just as far as just like a fun, very impulsive trip, just with my brother Travis and his kids on just a very quick weekend getaway to Universal for them to experience Universal for the first time. It was great. And I got to enjoy Sapphire Falls and all the amenities, most of them over there, just being at Sapphire Falls and then just the water taxi or the fun stuff in City Walk, going to the theme parks. It's great. It's also fun just to experience theme parks I don't know, just from other people's perspectives, especially like a first timer at a theme park, that is a super magical experience. And just to see how excited other people can be, and then just to see Travis being a dad at a theme park, that was like a super fun memory. Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and start, I guess, talking about the Universal stuff. That was my I guess one other little thing that I should mention because it's sitting right over here. So if you watch those videos, then you know that I lost my Harry Potter wand, and I was very sad. Um, Specifically, I put it on the stroller when Travis and I went to go ride. We rode uh, River Adventure, and Berna was like, you know, go ride this because Travis really wanted to ride it. So she hung out with Margot and Isaac in the stroller, and I put the wand like on the top of the stroller, and I didn't think about it. And later on, I realized I totally put the wand on top of the stroller, and where it just could have fallen out at any point, but it was probably in the store for River Adventure because that's where like we went. That's where Brennan and the kids hung out while Travis and I ran around through Single Rider and then rode River Adventure and then met them back up in the gift shop. And so I lost my wand and I was bummed about it because the wands are $65 now. Interactive wands are $65. You do get pass holder discounts and stuff on them, but it's still like that's a lot of money. And we've lost a wand before. I think Brennan's Hermione wand ended up getting lost at some point, and so I got her like a new one like months later. But when you lose a wand, when somebody finds just like a wand on the ground, just the potential of them actually returning it to guest services or to Lost and Found is pretty minimal because just those wands are really expensive. And you know, for any kid that goes to Universal that loves theme parks, you know, for any parent that maybe wanted to get their kid a wand but then saw that they were $65 just to see a wand on the ground, I could honestly I don't judge them for picking it up and being like, well, okay, guess I have a wand now. That's pretty cool. But I was like holding on to hope that maybe somebody would turn it in, or maybe like a team member would find it because it really only got lost in that like 10-minute time period that like they were in the gift shop between us leaving the stroller and then riding the ride and then getting the stroller back with Brennan and then continuing our day. So I did put in like I went to Lost and Found on the way out of the park. I think the following day, and they didn't have it, and so just like I filled out like a Lost and Found form online that you can do, and it's through like a third party, I'm pretty sure. Again, just like presuming that like nobody turned this in. It's just it's I doubt it. And guess what? Somebody turned it in. I got my wand back. There it is. I don't know if it was a person, just like a regular guest, or if it was somebody that works like in the store, but somebody turned it in and got the email, and it was right there, Lost and Found. So went back and got it, and I don't know. I'm so happy. And something else happened like I think that day that I went to go check to see if they had it when we were getting butterbeer, like right as the park closed. I like saw $20 just like on the ground, and like I was like, "Is this yours?" And then I like picked it up and then I gave it to the cashier and I was like, "Somebody just left this here." And I had that like moment of like, "Oh man, like that's something I totally could have just like, oh, money, put it in my pocket." But I tried to pay it forward for my own sake, where I put it out into the universe, where if I turned in that money, then maybe somebody else turned in my wand. And when I went by Lost and Found and they didn't have it, I was like, darn it. But guess what? It worked out for me. So there's your fun little story. So I'm glad that I got it back. Or if this isn't mine, this is a very random coincidence that somebody else happened to turn in the exact same wand in the same vicinity where I claimed to have lost my wand. But I'm just going to presume that this one is mine. So yay, didn't have to spend another $65 on a new wand, and somebody out there is a good person. So that's exciting. And if I have any other like stories to share from like this weekend, then I'll try and remember them. Again, it was just mostly just us just hanging out like as brothers, and then me being like an uncle and trying to like navigate that and figure that out. Trying to be like not like a tour guide, but trying to be like that sort of like person of awareness of like what the kids could actually do versus what they couldn't do, and trying to help out with child swap where Travis and Margot could ride rides together that they could actually ride, and then I would be able to hang out with Isaac and getting just more familiar with how Child Swap works at Universal is really helpful information. They do make it very convenient, like very much so, and so that was like really pleasant. Some Child Swap areas are more conducive for a comfortable experience than others. Some are just a little bit awkward. They're just a very small bench. But you know, it was fine, and it's a cool service that they do, definitely. So I'm going to talk about what Universal announced today. Information that has been known, I think, at this point, but has not had like a specific like a date of when these things are going to be happening, or just the specifics of what's going to be included in them. And so first off, the land that everybody knows about because it has been announced and close to being done with construction is the new DreamWorks land, which is back over in Woody Woodpecker's Kid Zone, which is it replaced, unfortunately, Fievel's Playland, and then Curious George Goes to Town, Woody Woodpecker's Nut House Coaster, and then A Day in the Park with Barney. So this is DreamWorks land. Ta-da! So there is Shrek right there with his swamp. And I'm going to go to Universal's website just to make sure that I read the specifics of this accurately. So this is Shrek's Swamp Meet. Hang out with your favorite ogre Shrek and his fantastical fairy tale family. Meet him, Fiona, and Donkey and slide through his swamp. So that is like really cool. It's still a little awkward that it's right up next to E.T. Adventure. So we'll see how that ends up working out. But as far as just them making Shrek's Swamp and making this like a really fun, identifiable, pretty iconic land for a very, I guess at this point, sort of a classic movie, but a very cool and important movie with Universal's catalog in DreamWorks. I'm excited about the play area, of course, because I'm me and I love a good play area. I will absolutely be running around like that wooden like second level up there, and the outhouse and just whatever other interactive areas that this like land has. And I know that it's absolutely not going to be nearly as close to what Fievel's Playland used to be, but it's something. I'm excited for it, and I'll get to meet Shrek and Donkey and Fiona, and that'll be really cool. So next up, sort of back behind Shrek's Swamp Meet, this is the new coaster. So this is the Trolls Troller Coaster. It says, "Come find your happy place with trolls you love. Join Poppy, Branch, and the gang on the family-friendly Troller Coaster and more." So I am easily the most unenthused about this, probably, compared to everything else in this land. Maybe Gabby's Dollhouse, because I have no idea what that is specifically. But just like the aesthetics of the cosmetics of this coaster, seeing this roller coaster in person being tested, I'm not a fan of how it looks. I've actually never seen a Trolls movie, and that would definitely contribute to not having the most interest with this roller coaster. It is the same roller coaster with what it used to be. So I don't know. We'll see. It's a roller coaster, and kids are going to like it. So therefore, who cares? I guess, right? In terms of my opinion, and I'll definitely ride it. I'm not going to not ride it, but it's just something that I'm not excited about at the moment. But I could change my mind and be super enthusiastic about it. And then finally in the back, this is one that I'm the most interested about, just what they ended up doing to this area. This is the Curious George Goes to Town, former Curious George Goes to Town play area. But now this is Poe's Kung Fu Training Camp. It says, "Visit Panda Village, the ancestral home of Poe and all pandas. Meet and train with Poe. Play a gong to create all kinds of sounds and more." So it seems like they're keeping like the skeletal structure of what Curious George used to be, the play area, the splash pad. And what I don't know what they're going to be doing is what used to be the ball factory in the back. Is that going to be like the meet and greet with Poe, potentially? I don't know. They don't really like have much to decipher with this, other than you can see sort of like the dump bucket structure there, and maybe some like interactive like spinning elements off to the side there, and then some of the same water features. I liked what it was before, but if it's still pretty much the same thing, but just has this like new, more like, I don't know, this is more of like an elemental like earth like ambiance back here, which could be kind of pleasant because the Curious George Goes to Town, it was very more like steel and metal and just loud and colorful, and this could be like much more pleasant and relaxed. Um, so we'll see. It's something different, and uh, it could have been something very very different and unique, and going back years when they used to have uh like the like this is where they presumed like the Nintendo stuff could go. Like that was like original rumors like back in the day, and then it was even like zoned for that, and then and just how they like closed off certain sections of that area for like Halloween Horror Nights or whatever. Like that was something that was just very much so highly rumored, and then this is what it ended up being, which is sort of just like a retheme of the area with what was there before, and it's different and it's more cohesive now. It's all DreamWorks as opposed to being just a complete just random, uh, you know, right? Like Barney and uh, Curious George and Woody Woodpecker and Fievel, they were all pretty random. So I think it gives it a little bit more like cohesiveness as it's actually like a land. Um, so somebody asked, what do I think about Shrek Swamp being that close to the entrance of ET? Will it be congested? I don't think so. From what I could tell when I go to the animal actor stage and I like look down from that level, you can't really see much from up there, which is why I haven't really felt like it's been like super intrusive or invasive of what they're doing there. But it seems to be like they really it's a pretty wide open space just to get into. Um, Kid Zone. I think it really, if anything, it just makes ET just so much more awkward back there because it is now going to be behind Shrek Swamp with just this entire berm of like trees and bamboo or whatever they're planting there to, and it's sort of like in this armpit of an entrance now that they can't really do anything about. Um, I guess at the moment, I don't know. Um, yeah, so I'm glad that Nintendo didn't go back there either. It's just it's not a lot of land, so it's just compared to what we are allegedly getting for Epic Universe, it is monumentally so much better that they ended up going with what they are doing now. Um, so next, I want to talk about this. This is the Sensational Symphonic Spectacular. The alliteration with theme parks, they love it, and I love them for it because it just makes it more fun to say. So this is going to be the new Lagoon show at Universal Studios Florida, and this is the concept art that they created for this. So you can see Hogwarts, you can see Jurassic World, you can see Jaws, and then what most people are probably the most excited about is in the sky, you can see drones. Everyone is so excited for drones, myself included, because I have never in my life seen a drone show. The one time they did a drone show in Orlando that I've been able to see, it was a very short holiday drone show at Disney Springs, and we just didn't ever go out there for it, and it was just that short run that it was just we just couldn't see it, and then they never did it again, which is always my fear with theme parks. If you don't do something immediately, that's the first culture where it's actually rewarding. Is that if you don't do something immediately, you there's no guarantee that you will ever be able to do it again. So, oh no, Arlo's barking. Um, so yes, this is the sensational new show that's going to be on the Lagoon. They've been testing it recently, and it's really exciting. The fact that they're still continuing to do this. I loved the cinematic celebration, which is what they did previously before I think it was damaged due to a hurricane, and then there's been nothing there for several years now. And so now with fireworks and drones, like it is going to be a fantastic show, I think. And as far as like specifics about the show, um, I don't know. I'm trying to like find some stuff on it that I like originally like read before. Um, but I guess like the most important aspect about this and about DreamWorks, about most of what was announced, is the opening date. Right? I completely forgot about that. So guess what? Everything is going to be opening except the last thing I think that I'm going to be talking about, June 14th, which is like what 6 weeks away, pretty much also. So that's nice. Like it's a good amount of time to plan for if you're somebody that like actually like vacations here or comes here whenever there's something to do. But then it's also uh it's not next week or something where it's that would have been nice, but to give it a little bit more time and breathability of anticipation of knowing when this is going to be opening up, and this actually does correlate with some Disney stuff too, because a lot of what's going on at Epcot, don't know where that accent came from. That's going to be June 10th, so it's just June's going to be like an exciting time for the theme parks. Tiana's Bayou Adventure, who knows when that's going to be opening up. I'm sure they're going to be announcing something with that at some point soon. SeaWorld has Penguin Trek, which I went there the other day and it wasn't testing. And then, of course, immediately after that, they start testing Penguin Trek. So this summer, it's going to be great. They have a lot of stuff that is going to be announced. So going back to the show, let's see, I'm going to pull this graphic back up right here. Yes. So from what I can tell, I'm reading like the specifics. So there's 228 fountains, 4K projection mapping. The fountains go up to 131 feet. And then what most people are excited about, myself included, more than 600 drones, apparently. And it's going to have Harry Potter and Jurassic World. It's going to have the classics of like Jaws and Ghostbusters, Back to the Future. It looks like E.T., but then also like Shrek and How to Train Your Dragon, the Super Mario Brothers movie, apparently, Minions, and then King Kong. I'm just like reading all of these. It's pretty much just every big Universal DreamWorks Illumination property is probably going to be represented in this in some facet. So that's cool that they're doing sort of a blending of their most iconic classic ones, like Jaws and King Kong and Back to the Future, Ghostbusters, and then maybe they're like acquired properties like Minions and Harry Potter, and then they're also doing the ones that are kind of a hybrid of just what they're working on, like, or what they've been putting out recently, like Jurassic World, which was Jurassic Park, and so that's just going to be pretty cool, and it's going to be very cool, and I think that I'm definitely like considering it. I'm probably going to want to be there opening day, like if I can, right? I don't know what day June 14th is. Let me check, actually. Now I'm curious for like schedule stuff. That is a Friday. That works out perfectly. So I'm excited. Yeah, it's going to be every other vlogger in the world there, but you know what? Sometimes I just kind of don't care. Other vloggers can do what they do, and I'm going to do what I do because I actually want to be there and have a good time. And it may not be the best, like, high-quality video, but it's going to be myself doing something that I'm really excited for, which is just all of this. Just supporting Universal with, like, entertainment. I don't know. They deserve it because Universal's entertainment, it's so different compared to Disney, where Disney's is more, like, iconically represented and identifiable with their characters and their movies in that way with entertainment. But then Universal's been doing such a much better job of just making entertainment in the parks, original entertainment, too. And just to whatever they end up doing, I want to support that and just like give them accolades for it. So speaking of Hogwarts, ta-da, they're doing a new Hogwarts show, which is really cool because they haven't been doing one for a little while, or the ones that they've been doing, it's specifically like for the holidays, or they did the Dark Arts show. So to have just like a general Hogwarts show again is actually really cool. And this also is going to be, so June 14th. June 14th is when DreamWorks Land opens. It's when the Sensational Lagoon show starts, and then it's going to be when this show, which is called Hogwarts Always, debuts. So June 14th for everything. So it'll be interesting if they're going to be able to, I guess like in the past, they've been able to do multiple shows for the Hogwarts show because they need to, just because of the capacity. So presumably I'd be able to see Sensational and then also Hogwarts Always, but I guess I'll have to figure that out. I'm sure that they will, right? But I don't know any specifics about this one. Let's see if I can like scroll around and figure it out. I mean, there's not much to really like know about it, and some of the stuff I do want it to be somewhat of a surprise. Yeah, I guess it's just going to be like a new Hogwarts show. I should have like written down like some specifics about this. Here we go. I guess it's going to showcase just shopping at Diagon Alley, Like it says, it's going to take guests on a journey through iconic moments of a school year at Hogwarts. This is from who is this from? This is Inside Universal. Okay, yeah, so that makes sense. So from supply shopping in Diagon Alley, the exhilarating ride aboard the Hogwarts Express to participating in the sorting ceremony, celebrating the House Cup winner, and so much more. Yeah, so that'll be cool. Just iconic moments from the wizarding world of Harry Potter that most people are probably familiar with. So it might be sort of a hybrid of what the show used to be, which used to be pretty much predominantly just the sorting hat process and just each attribute of each particular house for Hogwarts. So it's going to be a little bit more of like I think a love letter to Harry Potter in general. So that'll be pretty cool, I think. And then, so I have one final announcement to talk about. So this one is not opening up on the on June 14th. It's going to be opening up a little bit later on July 3rd, and that is the Universal Mega Movie Parade, which is probably, I think, what I'm most excited about. I'm excited about all of this because it's just new stuff to be excited about. But the Universal Mega Movie Parade, to be doing a new parade, and I think, let's see, I think it was 13 floats. I need to try to verify that information before I give out incorrect stuff. So it says, 13 movie reference parades. And then I think they said that there's going to be a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, a 16-foot tall Stay Puft Marshmallow Man on one of the floats representing Ghostbusters. And then there's going to be like a Gyrosphere, Tyrannosaurus Rex, Raptors with the Jurassic World float. I don't know specifically which 13 floats are going to be represented, and I'm sure that it's going to be pretty much what you'd expect with like a combination of iconic, classic Universal properties like Jaws, like Back to the Future, like Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Ghostbusters, and then probably like the newer stuff from Illumination and from DreamWorks, probably Minions and How to Train Your Dragon and Trolls and what else? Sing, maybe Shrek. I don't know. And I could probably look this up and figure it out, but it'll also be cool just to be somewhat surprised, and they'll probably show off more of this stuff as it gets a little bit closer. And I don't know if all that I just said is going to be in this parade, but it'll be neat. I can imagine there's probably not going to be Harry Potter stuff because it's just weird with Harry Potter here. But you know what? We'll see. 13 floats. Those are a lot of floats. I don't know if SpongeBob's going to have any representation. We'll see. Minions, I'd imagine, has to be a big deal with Universal and their parades. They're pretty important. But you know what? I'm excited. I'm excited for all of this. I am so interested to see what they end up doing with this, and just that it's pretty much right around the corner with most everything opening up on June 14th and then July 3rd for the parade. And yeah, I can't imagine that there won't be like more information, or they'll actually like showcase the floats that are going to be debuting in the parade, or like the performers, or the entertainment of the characters, whatever it is. So it'll be pretty known what this parade is going to be before it even debuts. So there won't be much of like a surprise with it. And I'm sure that like once they announce this, getting back into Universal, just doing just general vlogs around the park, that'll be fun to like talk about that information and what I think about it, and if I'm excited for it, or if I'm not, or if there was like a property that I could have thought could have been represented more in the parade that represents Universal. We'll see. I know the Universal likes their Trolls. I'm not a Trolls guy, but people like Trolls. That's okay. I wish Harry Potter was represented in the parade, but it probably won't be. But yeah, them doing Back to the Future, Jurassic World Park, and King Kong, Jaws, if they can even incorporate those, Ghostbusters, that's a cool one. Probably already mentioned that. It's gonna be cool. And then I need to make sure I'm throwing the name right of this, the Sensational Lagoon Show. That'll be cool with drones and fireworks. That'll just be great. Yeah, and then right after this is Epic Universe. Just right around the corner. And it's cool that they're doing this because again, they know just that it's important just to keep life in these parks while they, have the new kid and spoil the new kid, which being Universal Epic Universe, which is the official name of it, which I don't love that, but whatever, can't do anything about it. Um, I don't know. I'm excited, and I will forever just keep saying that, just because I'm appreciate the creative integrity that goes into these parks, and sometimes it's more of a tease where they know what people like with the classic stuff, and they put in the merchandise and shirts and cups and mugs, and hats all the time with their love for Jaws and Back to the Future and Ghostbusters and E.T. and King Kong, but then they don't actually do anything to represent them other than just like selling the nostalgia of it. So to actually put them in a parade or put them in a show, just show that they actually do care about these classics that people care about too, even if there's not a ride for them anymore, with the exception of King Kong. But that's working out great right now. It's cool, and I applaud Universal for doing that, and what they ended up doing with DreamWorks, probably the best version of what they could have done back in that area with the space that they had to represent like the more iconic, you know, DreamWorks properties and stuff. So we'll see. And then the new Hogwarts show, probably like weirdly enough, like the least excited about that, but I'm also really excited for it. So that should like sort of set the precedent of just me being really like motivated to see all of this stuff, because I love Harry Potter so much, and a new Harry Potter show is phenomenal. So for that to be on like the bottom of the ranking of what I'm the most excited about, probably being the Mega Movie Parade, and then the Sensational Lagoon show, and then DreamWorks Land, and then Hogwarts. But that could change, that ranking of anticipation once we get a little bit closer to it, once they maybe release some more concept art for it, probably. Somebody asked, do I have any thoughts on the new Harry Potter TV show being developed for HBO or Max? I don't know. Like same sort of scenario, I think, with what they ended up doing with Avatar: The Last Airbender, where people were like really apprehensive about it because it's such an iconic, original, creative project and medium of a cartoon. To be able to adapt that into live action is a challenge, and a lot of people ended up really not liking it. Myself and Brendan really did like it because we've gone into that before, that we just think it was a lot of fun, and just being able to see what they ended up doing and how they interpreted it, and just being okay with the fact that this is just another adaptation of this story. It doesn't taint the original material at all. Harry Potter seems challenging because the original film series is, it is the film series. Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter. Rupert Grint is Ron Weasley. Emma Watson is Hermione Granger. And so to see them just sort of attempt that again, it's going to be hard, but which was advantageous with Avatar: The Last Airbender. If they are able to adapt it in a way where they're able to showcase more stuff that they could not do, like in a feature-length film, then I think that'll be worth it, just to see these more world-building moments, where so much of what was special about Harry Potter were like those quiet moments, like gathered around the fireplace in the Gryffindor common room, just doing homework, and it didn't need to be just every big punctuated action moment of the book that had to be represented in the movie. If they can make that and really, just expand that into a series, that could be really, really cool. It just comes down to the casting and how they decide to do that, probably. And I don't think I have any like major preferences with how I want them to do or how I'm anticipating them to do like certain castings for certain characters. It's just no matter what they do, it's going to be weird because it's not the original trio. But I do want there to be more like earned moments from the books that just could not fit in the movie. Something to actually make you really like these characters and relate to them, and have empathy for them just a little bit more. And if the effects are really cool, then that'll be awesome. And if they do certain things right about the books that they did not do right about the movies, the biggest ones for me probably being Deathly Hallows Part 2. I think that's like one of my least favorite movies because of how much they changed to make it more cinematic, but completely just ignored the books, where specifically when Harry, he snaps the Elder Wand without mending his own wand first at least, but in the books that was a big deal that he did not destroy the Elder Wand and returned it to where the magic could, and so to just snap the Elder Wand in half in the movie was just very bizarre to me. And then a huge one that a lot of people like definitely know is Voldemort like disintegrating, was just not cool, I think, at all, because the point of him dying in the books is that he died exactly how he was the most terrified to die, which was just as this mortal man crumpled into a pile, embarrassed on the ground, in front of everyone, just as this like most unimportant, like humiliated mortal, and the idea that him just like just dissolving away into nothingness, when the whole point of the entire series was that people did or didn't know if Voldemort was even alive because, they thought he was still out there but they thought he was dead. But then, so then him coming back was this big deal because it validated the fears of what everybody had about Voldemort actually still being alive. So then him in the movie just disintegrating could perpetuate that fear of, well, is he actually dead or not? And it gave him this like, I don't know, this bigger moment of death where like in the books again he just dies and they just like drag his body off and they just throw it in the corner on a pile of rubble, and it's this much bigger. It's weird because like it's this more like boring moment in the book, but it's important because that's the point of it, So we'll see. Like if they take certain adaptation moments like that and they make it like specifically, this is how it happened in the books. They made this happen in the movie because it made more sense and they didn't want to introduce these characters. They didn't have time to. They combined characters together, or they completely removed certain narratives about the characters that made you more, empathetic towards them. There were certain characters that you didn't even get to see at all, in the movies because they didn't have time to put them in there, So if they're able to do that in the live action, if the action is cool, if the chemistry is there, if they get a really good Dumbledore and a really good Snape, and then a really good trio, then that'll be cool, I think. But that's presuming they're able to, I don't want them to commit to this and then it not work out, because that is my least favorite thing when if they start to make this and then they get like 4 books into it, and then they cancel it. They don't finish it out. I hate that so much. They better purchase and greenlight the entire series and budget it in one chunk, and because I don't want that to be either want it to happen or to not happen, I guess at this point. So yeah, I think I pretty much talked about all that I wanted to talk about. So yeah, if you're watching this on the replay or if you're just joining now or whatever, then yeah, I'm excited for all the Universal's announcing, and I'm hoping to be there when it all debuts, and we'll see if they release stuff about it in advance, if that's something that I want to like consume, or if I just want to be there and just see it for the first time in person, like the new shows. I guess like DreamWorks will just be a land, and there's nothing to really spoil about that because it's just a meet and greet, a coaster, and then an interactive play splash area. So we'll see. And then I think there are certain other parts of DreamWorks that are going to be maybe like a bit more of a surprise, but it'll be neat, and it'll finally just open up that land again. And it was a bummer when Travis came with the kids, specifically for 2 major reasons, being that the only major kid area at Universal was closed, so that was a bummer. And then also Pteranodon Flyers, which has been all over Twitter now, but like I guess it had just closed like a couple days or something before we went, like last week, and like it's closed indefinitely at the moment, and I don't know if it's going to or not open up, if it's going to be several months or just completely be closed altogether, because it's a very low capacity ride and it causes probably a lot of negative guest feedback by not being able to ride. And and then that's stuff that I think about too, where it's like if you have if you vacation with a kid that's too short to ride it and then you come back next time and then they're too tall to ride it, or if you are a single parent with one child that's able to ride it and one child that's not. And, like I don't know how that works, and just the amount of people that want to ride it that just can't at all because their kids are too tall for it or they're just adults by themselves or whatever it is. So I'm sure that it just does not have the best like feedback, just being a ride that is accessible to, and then it's not accessible at all to my own knowledge unless you're able to transfer. So it's just, you know, I could see that being like the fact that that ride has been open as long as it is sort of surprising. It's not something that I wanted to like jinx, but of course, the one time in my life that I could possibly ride it because Margot could have ridden it if she wanted to. Didn't want to pressure that at all. But I don't know. It would have been cool to ride it, but it was closed, and now who knows if it'll reopen, or who knows if whenever Travis comes back with the kids, if they're too tall to ride it, or or that scenario where Margot's too tall and Isaac's still too short. I don't know. Yeah, Pteranodon Flyers is closed indefinitely. They have massive walls in front of it, and there's no like reopening date, at least at the moment. Shout out to Alyssa. Hello. Always doing random shout outs here and there. Yeah. So, but that's fine. We still had a great time, and we were able to do a lot because Universal does have stuff to do for kids. I think mostly Islands of Adventure, more so than Universal, with like the play areas and just the entirety of like Seuss Landing and areas of like Toon Lagoon and Camp Jurassic and stuff versus like Universal, not so much. But it was great just to be there with Travis. He really just wanted just to hang out and bring the kids down for a weekend because he just had that weekend free and they'd never been before. And whenever they come back to Disney, that'll be like more of a big family thing because that's more of like a big deal, I think, with the family more so than Universal is like that Disney trip that I think we're all really excited to do together. So I think that's it. I've been talking about like 45 minutes. That's not bad. I feel like these live streams are either they're 30 to 45 minutes or they're like 2.5 hours. Usually because I'm like building like a Lego structure or something. But yeah, this is great. This is a nice little like way to just like communicate, get my thoughts out about something. Of course, whenever I in the live stream, then I think I didn't say this one thing that I really wanted to say and mention and talk about or give my opinion about it. But there'll be plenty of times. Yeah, hey, if only my channel was a place for me to just talk about theme park stuff, right? That'd be really convenient. So yeah, I'm excited for Universal stuff coming up. I'm excited for Disney stuff too. They're doing less big stuff, but hopefully I'm trying to vouch for you, Disney. So please don't let me down. Hopefully D23 has some pretty big stuff for Disney for them to finally be like, see, we do have stuff that we're doing and planning and actually going to do. So take that. Because right now everybody is so much more Universal than Disney when it comes to just new opportunities and offerings, which is not inaccurate, but as long as everybody is having a good time and both theme parks are just putting out new stuff just consistently here and there, I think we're all having a good time, right? And we all benefit. So thank you for coming to the live stream, and thanks for letting me stutter through all that news and information that I'm sure, again, you can probably find much more sufficient and condensed and specific about opening dates and numbers of the various things that were announced. Yeah, so that'll be all over Twitter, I'm sure, today. Everyone was very excited for this news, as was I, and I'm glad that I was able to talk about it while it was still like fresh. So I'm gonna go ahead and conclude the live stream. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm glad that I got my wand back, and we have some super fun stuff coming to Universal very soon. So thank you for watching, everybody, and goodbye.